Hello and welcome in, you guys. We got the 1132 post-game show. We are here to read through the comment section and see what the hell we all were theorizing based off of the latest chapter of One Piece. Personally, I thought the chapter was great. Louis Arno, another silhouette, giant grizzly bears, Rainbow Road, Sunstones, the Straw Hats are united. We're finally in Elbaph. I thought it was phenomenal. You know, I don't give these ratings out often, but it's a solid 9 out of 10. If you're wondering what makes a chapter 10 out of 10 for me, it's a fight. I'm a fight junkie, sorry guys, but you know, I need Luffy to throw a punch and then boom, it goes up an extra rating. But yeah, with that being said, enough stalling, let's get into the comment section and we will start from the top and just work our way down to the bottom, and we'll try to end this around like 30-40 minutes. That's the goal, right? So yeah, let's hop in and see what the hell you guys were cooking up. So there's a comment up here. Sorry, my editing skills aren't great, so it kind of blocks who's saying it, but they say the Sunstone equals dash gives enhancements and imagination. Seastone takes away your imagination. This is why it works on devil fruits. And honestly, that's really good. Sunstones giving imagination, Seastones taking away imagination, I think fits beautifully with the world government, Emu versus Luffy and pirates and dreams. So yeah, I 100% agree with this, and I can't wait to see more from Seastone, right? More from Sunstone. I meant to say Sunstone at first, but Seastone too, right? Sunstone is broken. My God, we're drawing rainbows that we can ride on. Dude, if we can draw more than just that, like weapons, like utilities, yeah, I think Seastone will need an upgrade in the future. I thought about that the other day. Like, the pirates are getting so many things in their arsenal, and we have so many people on our side that, in a weird way, I know they're villains, but there's a part of me that's like, hey, the world government needs a buff. You know, that is why I always bank on the Holy Knights. Like, the Holy Knights have to come through, man. They gotta be an unknown powerhouse. Same with McGarlin Garling. But yeah, I digress. Getting off topic now. So this comment, the second comment, they say, well, if Luffy is willing to lie for him, we can pass on the Loki is evil theory, because we all know Luffy's instincts when it comes to judgment of people. That is very true. This is true. I'm trying to think. Did we ever side with an evil character? There was Caribou, but we knew Caribou was a menace. Caribou was always locked up, right? The minute we could get rid of Caribou, you know, we gave him the boot. That guy was off on Egghead Island. So yeah, I think Luffy is a really good judge of character. We've seen what good observation hockey looks like from Fujitora, right? Fujitora in Dressrosa, he used observation hockey and he saw that the citizens, despite what they were saying, despite their screaming and yelling and saying, I hate you, Luffy, he saw green, red, blue, yellow. He saw all these colors because they were happy. They were good people. So I like to imagine Luffy has those same instincts. And so far, I think Luffy's instincts have been pretty spot on in this entire series. So I do agree. I think Loki, he might still be kind of evil. I think he's like a middle ground, maybe like an anti-hero. I'm not entirely sold that he's a bad guy yet. Maybe he's just like Usopp, where he's a good liar and he's lying to himself about being evil. Or who knows, maybe his version of destroying the world is a good thing, right? We know that Luffy will eventually destroy Fishman Island. Luffy's a good guy, so maybe Loki wants to do something in the same vein. We don't know yet. That's the glory of not having Loki's backstory yet, right? We can just throw all these theories at the wall until Oda breaks them all down. Anyone else think there's a chance Urouge is on the heaven level of Elbaph? Just me? No, it is not just you, it is pretty much everybody I've talked to that likes Urouge. Maybe not about him being on the heaven level, but a lot of people do suspect that Urouge will make an appearance here on Elbaph, and that's simply because he's the only supernova that we haven't had one-on-one time with. We've met everybody except for Urouge. He has to pop in at some point, and since we are in the final saga, and because there's not that many islands left, I think Urouge just makes the most sense here on Elbaph. And not to mention, now that we have sky clouds being a thing here on Elbaph, Urouge is gonna fit right in because he is a Birkin. He is a sky person. So yeah, maybe the heaven realm, the heaven world, whatever it is, maybe that is above the Yggdrasil tree and it is like this giant cloud. Personally though, that wouldn't make too much sense if it was another sky island, simply because when Brogy was giving the laydown of the tree, he did put the word heaven world right next to the tippity top of the tree and not like above it. So that's kind of why I think it's still within the tree, but either way, I think Urouge Urouge is going to be here one way or another. He's either already on this island or he's going to show up pretty damn soon. Why would he come here? I don't know. I mean, Urouge is really a blank slate. You know, I talked about Loki being a blank slate, but Urouge even more so. We don't know what he's about. We don't know what his powers even are. You know, he's one of those characters where you hit him, he gets bigger, he gets stronger, but that's pretty much it. We don't even know what his weapon is. Oda joked and said his weapon is a giant pencil, but that's a joke. That's the most we have about this guy. When I talk to people who like Urouge, the main go-to as to why they like him is because in an SBS, Oda said that Urouge's favorite hobby outside of all of this is lovemaking. You know, Urouge's ship, man, that's a funky place to be at, brother. But yeah, I'm excited for Urouge. He's not my favorite supernova right now, but like I said, we don't know anything about him. So hopefully Oda will make me an Urouge believer. So also with Urouge, I do hope Nell comes back because they are the same race. Birds of a feather flock together. You know what I mean? I love the idea of Usopp not growing past the big three in a straight strength. Although I hope he does get elite observation and some armament at the very least. But being super clever with new gadgets like the Sunstone, Usopp's most satisfying fight is still when he fully countered Luffy's moves in Water 7. He just lacked tools of a status high enough to do anything. It would be awesome to see him get tools that have utility at a much higher level. We need Batman Usopp back. Yes. That's what I think is so fun about Usopp's battles. And that's why I don't like Pop Greens. Pop Greens kind of take the creativity away. Yes, they're unique. Yes, they're special to him, but they kind of do all the heavy lifting, right? Boom, here's a Predaplant that's gonna eat you whole. Boom, here's a bomb that just turns into a skull. There's a lot of weird things with it. I think one of them was like even an impact wolf that just flew around and hit people with its nose. Like, yeah, it's cool, but like, I do miss the crafty Usopp. The Usopp that planned ahead. You know, the Usopp that hit you with an alcoholic bottle and then shot you with a fire star. That was great. Or the Usopp that was willing to take a punch so that he could use an impact dial and then he shoots it right back. Like, I really do think that Water 7 Enies Lobby Usopp is my favorite Usopp. I know that's a cliche, I know everybody says that, but it is true, man. It was great. It was literally Batman Usopp. And with the introduction of the Sunstone here, I do think we could get that again. You know, Usopp has all these gadgets. He has to draw it up, he has to find time for it, he has to think of what to make. I've seen somebody saying that he might even get a Sunstone hammer. That would be huge. Imagine he throws the hammer and then he, you know, tugs it back with the rainbow. I think there's so much to come out of the Sunstone ability, and would I like it more than the Pop Greens? A little bit, I will admit. Maybe I'll miss the Pop Greens if they're ever, you know, gone or missing, but right now I am looking forward to some sort of Usopp upgrade, and it doesn't have to be an upgrade that pushes him into the big three, right? I don't think he's gonna be beating Jinbei, Zoro, Sanji, or Luffy, but can he at least hurt them, or can he at least think of ways to get around some of their abilities? Yeah, and I think that's what mainly Usopp fans want. You know, they just want him to be able to do something, you know, use his brains, you know, bridge the gap between man, Usopp, and God, Luffy. That's it. So now, on to the next comment. They say, Momonosuke could be rebuilding Udon for Yamato to take over as a daimyo, like Odin did for Curry. Or, crazier theory, Momonosuke is preparing Pluton to send off with Yamato to meet this. That's a crazy one. Pluton with Yamato. See, I like Yamato. Giving Yamato Pluton, though, that's like, dude, that's a world ender. And the thing is that Momonosuke knows a little bit about Pluton because of Odin's journey. So I don't know if it's smart to do that. And plus, to get Pluton, you'd have to destroy the walls of Wano. And he didn't want to do that when Luffy left. So I can't imagine that he'd want to do it here. But of course, hey, I've seen crazier theories. You know, it's not bad. I just can't see it yet, you know? We need like a step 1, step 2, step 3 until we get there. As far as Momonosuke rebuilding Udon for Yamato, I could see that as well. But Momonosuke also knows Yamato's dream, right? Yamato is currently traveling through Wano, but Yamato does want to set sail one day. Yamato does want to follow in Odin's footsteps, and that's why she's taking this journey currently, but eventually she does want to sail off. I feel like Momonosuke knowing this wouldn't set Yamato up with a cushy position, because he'd probably be afraid that he would be holding Yamato back, kind of like how Odin's dad tried to hold him back initially. Maybe Momonosuke is going to go that route anyways because he wants Yamato here, here, but you know, at this point, we're kind of just trying to guess the headcanons of what characters are thinking. So yeah, I like these ideas personally. I don't agree with them, but I don't think they're bad. 3815 Sai, regarding the theory about time, notice that when Chrome mentioned Shanks left the island quite a while ago, but that's incredibly strange, almost unbelievable, because giants don't care about the passage of time, and Shanks left Elbaph less than a week ago. So if time went as usual, the kid would have said Shanks just left or something like that. So Shanks left a day ago. Yeah, Shanks left yesterday. So Shanks left, the Giants left, the Giants came to Egghead Island, they picked up the Straw Hats, and then they sailed for 2 days. Third day, they got kidnapped by Road, if I recall correctly. I might be adding or minusing a day here or there, but it has been a while, in my opinion. What's notable about time, though, and I didn't mention this in the review video, but when the kid and the bartender were talking about Dory and Brogy coming to the shore to drink at the tavern, the bartender said, oh, you know, if they came here to drink, they'd be here for 3 straight days, right? They said that. And at first, it's like, oh, because they're partiers. They drink a lot. Sure, why not? But what if the reason why she said that is because time is distorted by 3 days? I could see that. And that is a small detail that Oda put in at the beginning of the chapter. So I do think there is still some weird time thing going on. I have a couple of other theories that I'll talk about here in a little bit as well. But yeah, I do like the time route, mainly because this would progress the outside story a lot. Like, I do like the idea of leaving Elbaph and then everything's changed. You know how crazy that would be? Like, imagine we leave Elbaph and then we learn that Blackbeard has Pluton, he has Poseidon, and it's like, yo, what the hell's going on? How'd he do that? You know, I think that would be a lot of fun. Like, imagine what it would be like to visit all of these factions if there was a time skip. Forget the Straw Hats. Cross Guild after 1 month. Shanks after 1 month. Dragon after 1 month. Like, imagine we leave and it's like, oh, the revolutionaries have been defeated. Huh? You know, it would catch everybody off guard. So that's why I like the time thing. Might be personal bias there. But yeah, I think there is something weird with time. I don't know if the Shanks portion exactly covers it. I might have to recheck this. You know, I could be misremembering things heavily, but yeah, overall, I like it. I like that you timestamped it as well. Because of the format of this video, I can't click on it right now, so I can't see what I said, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I will go back and check this out. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I have a feeling Luffy asked Loki to join his crew. So I like this one ahead of time, right? I already read this. And as far as Loki joining the crew, that does sound like a promise Luffy would make. You know, if we're going back to OG One Piece humor, what was Luffy's shtick? He goes to an island, hey, join my crew, right? Whenever he sees somebody that's weird, wacky, ugly, what have you, he invites them. Think about the tree from Thriller Bark, the zombie from Thriller Bark. Think about Brownbeard, the big pirate captain with an alligator tushy. He invited him to the crew. You know, who doesn't get an invite? Gaimon, for Pete's sake, was invited to the crew. So I'd be kind of shocked if we left this island and Luffy didn't invite somebody. Hell, Wano. Luffy was ready to invite Kinemon, Momonosuke, and Yamato. We almost got 3 Nakama. It almost happened. So yeah, as far as Luffy asking Loki, I think this is actually really plausible. I know some people might not like it because, you know, Loki, hit or miss, you know, we already have too many people. We won't get screen time for other Straw Hats. I understand that sentiment, but I do believe that what Luffy said in was it chapter 1? It's like chapter 1, 2, or 3, but Luffy said that he wants a crew of 10 people. He said about 10 men will do it. And of course, he doesn't include himself, 10 men for him. So we are missing that last character. And that's why people like the Vivi route, the Yamato route, the Carrot route with now is a thing. And I understand why Loki's a thing now. Even Bonnie's a thing. Even Lilith is a thing. So eventually we will have to get that 10th sailing Nakama. Is it Loki though? I don't know. I can't imagine Loki would make that promise. You know, Loki seems like a guy who's out for himself. He does remind me of a Douglas Bullet character, the guy from, you know, Film Stampede. You know, just going around, taking names, killing people, having fun, just destroying the world. So I can't imagine him on Luffy's crew, but, you know, it goes back to what I said earlier. We don't really know enough about him yet. You know, I am judging a book by its cover, but we'll see. We'll see. Either way, though, Luffy does want to keep this Loki promise. You know, Luffy, I made the joke to Brago, and he seemed a little bit upset, but I said, yo, Luffy was almost more shocked about this promise and lying than he was shocked about Kizaru. And I'm a Kizaru fan, but I was like, dude, you see that? You see Luffy's face, man? He was stunned. He was stunned. All right, so I typically don't read replies, but I am curious to see what the general sentiment is. So the first one says, man, that would be epic. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. After all, his mission for 10 crewmates is not yet completed. That is what I just said. I agree. Hilarious. Giving the mischief of Loki as god, I think he'll be a feint that can switch his appearance or even size, which could be a good fit for him to fit on the crew. And that is true. So one of the reasons why I didn't see a giant join the crew is because the 1000 Sunny is really small. You know, like even with who we have right now, the 1000 Sunny is small. You know, in Japan, there is a life-size 1000 Sunny and it is small. So yeah, I think that was one of my main hangups with getting a giant, i.e. Loki, to join the crew. But if Loki can change sizes, maybe this is possible. Maybe it was a hint when we saw, you know, Roto's Playhouse and we saw a cat turn into a lion. Maybe Loki has a, you know, a panther mode or, you know, a cat mode or something like that. And it would fit in with the whole god of mischief, you know, Nordic Loki mythology. So yeah, I do like that a lot. And this one says, and Loki should join. No reason to think that at all. Luffy just isn't good at lying. Oh, like asking Loki to join the crew? Yeah, I mean, Luffy just isn't good at lying, but I feel like that's a different topic. No, Loki is OP, so he's not going to join. That is fair. This is a reason why people didn't think Yamato would join, right? Because there was a debate going on back in Wano, like who would win? You know, would Sanji beat Yamato? Would Zoro beat Yamato? Is Yamato too strong because she has advanced conquerors haki? That was a big topic, and because she is just too broken at that point, yeah, we needed the boys to glow up a little bit before we can invite another character. Like Oda doesn't like breaking the monster trio dynamic, right? It's always Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. It has been like that from the start, and I think he doesn't want to add in anybody who will disrupt the flow. You know, when it comes to characters like Jinbei, who, you know, in my opinion, he's like 4th place, it's pretty solid. It's pretty much understood. So yeah, I think maybe Loki might be too OP, but he's only OP for right now, right? Give us an island or two. The Straw Hats could be even stronger. Who knows? Who knows? How Robin and Frankie started too. Robin and Frankie started as 2 OP. Yeah, Robin did. Robin, funny enough, back in Alabasta, I always saw Robin as like a gimmick fighter. Like she was powerful, but it was kind of gimmicky, right? You know, she didn't have like the Fishman karate back then, but yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. And Frankie had the whole 1v1 against Luffy. He kind of lost that battle, but he was doing it. You know, Frankie was holding his own really, really, really well. This one says, and Jinbei joining technically got delayed until the crew caught up to his strength. Yes, so this is why I think Oda doesn't like breaking the dynamic. Of course, this is all like headcanon, but I think that's why he delayed Jinbei's joining for so long, because he wanted the crew to be well above Jinbei. And by the crew, I mean Zoro and Sanji, of course, not like everybody else. And then this one says, Frankie was not OP when he showed up. He was below Zoro Sanji level in Enies lobby. That is fair. I think it's mainly just that Frankie had a decent showing. Frankie didn't look like a chump until we went to Enies lobby, and then we saw him fight Fukuro, and then everybody else fought bigger and better opponents. But yeah, I can kind of see what the guy means up here though. So now going down, how strong is Louis Arno? I mean, dude made it from the Grand Line to Elbaph. I want to see him now. So in terms of strength, that's a hard one, right? Because we look at Luffy, and Luffy has to be at this level to get here. But that's because Luffy goes to each island and he wants to change / fix things. And he also declares that he wants to be the Pirate King. And Luffy also wants the poneglyphs. Luffy is a greedy man. You know, kind of simplifying it there, but Luffy's greedy. He takes it all. But if you're Louis Arno, if you're simply an explorer, a guy who's going from island to island, in my opinion, you don't have to be that strong, right? Like imagine Dressrosa, but instead of fighting Doflamingo, we're spectating at the Coliseum. You know, like imagine going to Punk Hazard, seeing that it's cold and, you know, lava-y, and you say, oh, I'm gonna avoid this place. You know what I mean? Like Louis Arno doesn't have to be a fighter, in my opinion. I think it would be cool if he was a fighter. I would love that. You know, as a fight junkie myself, I would love the double booms. But he doesn't have to be. But if I had to take a guess, you know, if you really like put a gun to my head and made me choose, I would say he is decently strong. And that's just because it's One Piece, really. It's a shonen. Come on. So let's go down, and they say maybe he was the original Sogeking before our current one, whoever he is. Haha, it's possible Usopp might want to be brave like him in the future. It's probably Hercules. I can never pronounce this guy's name. Hercules, but Herculesan. So they put like the N at the end. So that's kind of crazy. Ain't no way a top tier from the past is named Louise, bro. Stop. Hey, there's nothing wrong with this name. Louis, like, it's not a bad name, dude. I got a lot of Louis. So as far as this goes, like, we also don't know the dangers of the past. Current day in One Piece, Luffy had to fight so many people, but back in Louis's time period, maybe there weren't a lot of Yonko. Maybe there weren't, people stopping you from traveling. And if he was an explorer, then he might not have to deal with the Marines, right? They see a ship, they're like, wait, is that a pirate ship? Oh no, it's Louis Arno. Just let the guy pass, man. He's just an explorer. You see that guy? He's a bookworm. We don't have to fight him. But yeah, it could go either way, but I'm still pretty undecided about this right now. It could go either way, man. Drop of a hat. This one says, Loki actually fixes more problems than he causes, since they force him to solve issues that he has nothing to do with. Also, Big Mom was also big before she went to Elbaph. That is true. I said maybe Big Mom got big because of whatever Louis Arno was talking about. I was completely wrong about that. I did say she was born outside of Elbaph, but she eventually came here. But either way, she was a big baby. I don't know what the hell was going on with Big Mom. Maybe it ran in her family from her grandparents, because the parents were normal humans, but Big Mom was like, I don't know, like a 100-pound monster day one. As far as Loki fixing more problems than he causes, I can see this. I can 100% see this. And this kind of ties into the cover page story in a weird way, but Green Bull went to Wano to pretty much kill and capture everybody. He didn't do that. But do you know what he did do? Green Bull created a lush forest in the wastelands of Udon. And if you go to the cover page of this week's chapter, you can see that the forest is still there. Green Bull literally helped them more than he harmed them. So yeah, maybe Loki is the same way. I can also see Loki being an Usopp-like character, where maybe his whole thing about destroying the world, maybe his thing about being the sun god, maybe that's a lie. I mean, Loki is a prolific liar in Nordic mythology. Well, he's more like a trickster in Nordic mythology than a liar. But in Marvel, he was a liar. So yeah, I could totally see him maybe being a really good guy. Maybe he's lying for a reason. I think there's a lot of ways around this. The only thing we can't really excuse with Loki is him bad-mouthing Shanks. Yes, he was trying to poke fun at Luffy to see what would really get him going, but I think that was a bad faith kind of comment, right? But that's just me. Maybe I'm biased, right? I'm a big Shanks and Mihawk fan. When Elbaph arc gets animated, Viking music will be needed, yes. 100%, brother. I mean, with Egghead Island, they introduced new soundtracks, new SFX, new animation. Bro, Elbaph, come on, man. Yeah. Bring in the God of War music. Is God of War Nordic? It's not. It has Nordic characters in God of War, but it's not necessarily all Nordic themed. Yeah. It's been a while since I played God of War. I would not be surprised if Luffy's goal is to make Loki his friend. I could see that. Of course, they're working on an upwards hill because Loki made fun of Shanks, but he could reel it back, the minute he drops more Shanks information, maybe Loki gets on Luffy's good side. I could totally see that. Yeah, Luffy being friends with Loki. I mean, it's the double sun god thing, right? I mean, Luffy was even hanging around him. They were kind of chilling. Loki did say he wanted to kill Luffy the minute he gets unchained, but there's a lot of people who say that. I mean, Kid said that, for example. Kid was like, oh, I'm gonna kill Straw Hat. This guy's messing up everything. And then next thing you know, Kid and Luffy are like hanging out at the beach, right? So yeah, I feel like enemies to friends happens a lot in this series. Like Smoker, for example. That's an old one, right? But when Smoker was relevant, he was gung-ho for Luffy. Now look at him. He's a hoe for Luffy. That's just how it works, man. I know the guy says right here, bro is not Naruto, but he kind of is. I mean, Naruto is more forgiving. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, Naruto's like a 9 or 10. Luffy's like a 4. Luffy's like a 4. It's no surprise that Luffy won't keep his encounter with Loki a secret forever, but hopefully he'll explain it with his crewmates, especially Robin's group, who recently learned about Loki, which may lead the Emperor into finding a less dangerous way on learning about Shanks. Luffy keeping the secret. I think he will keep the secret to the best of his abilities. I don't think he's going to tell the crew right away. Maybe the crew will find out for themselves. But here's the thing, right? Not even Zoro, Nami, Sanji, Usopp, or Chopper knows about the deal, right? Luffy came back with Gerd and Goldberg. When he saw the other Straw Hats, they did not ask him about who they saw. I'm surprised they didn't, because Zoro and Sanji talked about the beast of a man down there. They had a crazy roar going down from the underworld. But Luffy's back and they didn't ask him yet. So yeah, maybe they have to ask him and then Luffy will lie and then they'll know something is up. But I think Luffy is the type of guy that will want to keep his promises to the best of his ability. And if he promised Loki not to, not tell anybody, maybe Luffy keeps it. And the Straw Hats will have to find out what the hell Luffy's doing in the background. Like, I'm just imagining the Straw Hats are hanging out, they're exploring Elbaph, and then the minute they see the keys to Loki's handcuffs, Luffy runs off. I don't know, that's my own personal theory. I think that'll just be really silly too. Like, imagine this is the one time Luffy actually locks in, which we do have to remember. Luffy has done a stealth mission before. It's not canon, but Luffy was kind of cracked in One Piece film Gold, right? When Luffy had to go free Zoro and break into Guilty Zoro's whole mansion, Luffy wasn't that bad. So I do have faith in Luffy to an extent. I like the idea of the hyperbolic time chamber in Wano. I'm assuming they mean Elbaph. This might be why Shanks is so powerful. Like, come on. He literally one-shotted Kid, a guy who got serious blows from Big Mom and survived. Unless Shanks is some sort of powerhouse by nature. Also, I think the troubles the five elders gave our heroes during Egghead need to be addressed here at some point, like in a casual conversation during a meal or so. Oh, I agree. I 100% agree. As such, I believe Straw Hats need training. And if your prediction about the time flow in Elbaph is accurate, Warrior Land would be the perfect place to train for a few months. I agree, and that's why I think time is so important, because I talked about how time passes faster in here versus out there and vice versa, but we don't have a few months. That's another thing as well, right? And that's something the time dilation could fix, because if we do wait a few months, I already talked about how, outside factions can time skip and they'll have poneglyphs, they'll be, 5 steps ahead of the Straw Hats. We can't wait for months, because somebody will find it. Like, Blackbeard has 3 poneglyphs. Shanks has 3 poneglyphs if he took kids, right? So we can't wait for too long, and that's why I do like the idea of maybe time moves. Would it be faster or slower? It moves slower here than the outside. There we go. I'm so sorry. Dude, time working both ways. Oh my god. All Oda has to do now is throw in a multiverse and I'm lost. You know what I mean? But yeah, I like this a lot. I think a training arc would be a lot of fun, and I would love if we get a post Egghead breakdown from the Straw Hats. I feel like we might get this in a flashback, because we have to remember the Straw Hats sailed for like 2 days until we hit Elbaph. So maybe they already talked about it and we'll simply go back to that later. Like the Vegapunk situation where we got the whole Egghead Island thing, and then later on we got the whole reveal that it was York, and then we saw her do all the planning. It could be like that. As far as a way to hurt the Gorosei here, it could be Sunstone. Sea Stone is what they use to, nullify Devil Fruit users. Maybe the Sunstone nullifies Emu's powers. All right, so now on to the next comment. They say, I think the note from Arno. Dude, his name, man, it's killing me. It was a narrative warning to us that we won't be in Elbaph for too long. Yeah, Oda says, hey guys, we're here, but we're leaving tomorrow. I could see that. I don't think that's the case though, simply because Oda's been waiting for this arc for so long, and because it's such an ominous warning, a warning to which we have no idea what they're talking about, I think we're gonna see the repercussions of it. Imagine if Oda tells us something's happening, but he never shows us. I feel like because of this note, we're gonna see what's up. I'm putting my bets on that one. Also, Nami could use the Sunstone. Like you said, if Shanks used it for fast travel during Marineford arc, then maybe you need a navigator to use it. Food for thought. Definitely think Usopp would be the one to get it. I just think Nami is a strong option. And I completely agree. And here's the thing with Sunstones. There's not just one out there. I just go back to Skypiea, right? In Skypiea, when we left, we got a waiver, we got an impact dial. It's not canon. We even have an audio dial. We have so many dials on the 1000 Sunny Dash Going Merry. Like, dude, we can take a lot of Sunstone, right? And when you think about Sea Stone, for example, there's a lot of Sea Stone out there. I'd be shocked if we didn't get at least 3 of these guys, right? 1 for Usopp, 1 for Nami, and 1 for Frankie for good measure. Maybe Frankie can tinker with it. Maybe for Chopper. Maybe it has medicinal purposes as well. Maybe you can use it as a bar soap, because it kind of looks like that. When you go to the chapter and you look at the Sunstone, it's actually like a brick. It really does look like a bar of soap. So yeah, I think there's a lot of uses for it. And look at this. We got our favorite thing in these videos, AI generated responses. I love it when these bastards pop up. What does it say? I'm always so curious. What does AI think I would say? So in response to your comment, the AI YouTube bot says, I like the idea of Nami using it. And yeah, definitely see Usopp being the one to snag it. Oh, that's a good one. That's that's a good one. What about this one? It has 2 options. I think Nami would be an awesome Sunstone user? Damn. But my guess would be someone else. Oh, wow, dude. Dudes, one day, man, I'm gonna respond to some comments and you won't know. Is it me? Is it AI? Who can tell? Never trust any YouTubers when it comes to responses anymore. Maybe I have to start adding like some emojis in mine, just so you know it's me. Like I'll put like a spicy emote or a skull or, you know, something silly, so you know it's not AI. AI could never replicate emojis, right? Let's see here. Sai always dripped and looking fresh with the tats. I'm not dripped today. My hair is kind of effed up, but that's because I just threw water on it. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I have a lot of tattoos, by the way. Not like a cohesive sleeve, but got the full sleeve here. Same with this arm. I've never like shown off my tattoos. Got like the leg sleeve as well. I have a whole back piece too. Like I got my entire back tattooed. Waist. I got some of my ribs, chest as well. Let me see. I got like a dragon here. Kind of looks like Kaido when you really look at it. But yeah, love the tats, man. I've been getting tattoos ever since I was 18. And yeah, it's just kind of built up. It was like an addiction. Bad addiction because it costed a lot of money. I remember back in college, there were some times where I couldn't exactly pay rent because I just got more and more tattoos, but it was worth it, man. This is gonna sound so stupid. I blame anime for my tattoo addiction because I saw the Death tattoo when I watched Akame Kill, and I was like, whoa, that's awesome. Let's get it. And then I watched Tokyo Ghoul, and there was a character named Uta, one of my favorite characters in the series, and he had a lot of tattoos, and I was like, yo, that's cool, man. So yeah, I blame anime. I blame anime for sure. When the anime finally catches up to this hypothetical Shiki, Oda is either going to have to say that, like in his interview, that Strong World isn't canon, and that Shiki doesn't know the Straw Hats personally, which makes the Strong World buildup filler arc even more egregious. Or Oda goes on a more bizarre route with Shiki being the real one of the good timeline, and the Strong World Shiki is just somehow summoned copy of a bad timeline by some devil fruit that operates similarly to the age fruit, except okay, no, this is insane. whoa, wait a minute. You said bizarre route, and I was like, okay, where's he gonna go with this? And then you brought up the idea of a good and bad Shiki being summoned by a different timeline devil fruit, and instead of changing others into alternate versions, it summons them. And then we have a time travel pseudo deities that have reality bending toon force. I don't see how such a power wouldn't be too far-fetched at this point. Okay. Let me stew on this for a minute. A devil fruit that summons people from a multiverse timeline. I could see it. I think this is too broken though. This feels like a movie ability. Like this is like Uta's ability, right? Where Uta sings a song and then everyone is transported to a different dimension and there's a mother effing demon in there, right? Tot Musica. It's almost too broken. I'll say that for sure. It's like Bullet's devil fruit, like where he simulates everything he touches and he's like the size of King Kong. Like this is a movie ability right here. I don't think this is going to be canon. I do like just the first one where Oda has to clarify, or maybe the anime does a little recap and then say, hey, never happened. So this is possible because if you watch the latest episodes of the anime, I don't know if Fishman Island is still doing it because I kind of skip over it now, but when we were on Egghead Island, when they added in the new animation style, the new ending, the new opening, they also added something that a lot of animes nowadays has, where it's a post-credit scene where we have Mini Chopper and Mini Robin come up and they talk about the Vivre cards. They come up and they talk about the SBS and they talk about cover page stories. I could totally see them doing this for Shiki, where instead of having like a whole episode where they say it, maybe it's like a 30-40 second thing at the very end of the episode where Chopper and Robin comes out and they're like, hey, do you remember this? And then they're like, no, I don't, because it's not canon. So I think that's the easier route. Having this, man, yo, this is crazy, bro. I mean, I like it. I respect it, right? Pitch this to Toei, tell them to make a movie out of it. That would be cool. And the thing is, a lot of animes do this. Like in Naruto, for example, this is like the start of Shippuden, but they had to fight clones of Might Guy Squad. And then we had, I'm trying to think, Bleach. Bleach had an entire filler arc where some guy created clones of all the Gotei 13. So like, it's not a crazy idea, but it's an idea that like, this is a whole arc, bro. Like imagine different reality, Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, like all of them. Too busted. So now, last comment. I absolutely think there's more going on with what Loki said to Luffy. I have a feeling that Loki is manipulating Luffy into agreeing to free him, maybe by threatening Shanks or his crew if he didn't. I think that someone, either among the Giants or the Straw Hat crew, will pick up on Luffy's behavior and figure out something more to the situation between Loki and Luffy. Another thought I have is that Loki will be freed by someone else and Luffy will be framed for it. Other than that, I'm doubling down on the mystery silhouette being Scopper Gaban. Scopper Gaban stocks will be going up, y'all. Maybe Scopper is going to be the one that knows where the man marked by flames is located and who he is, which I'm starting to think it's Shiki. I like how you say this and then you're like, by the way, I think the man marked by flames is Shiki. You can't have a conversation about Scopper without bringing up Shiki. And same for Shiki. You know, when you bring up Shiki, you gotta bring up Scopper. Dude, two sides of the same coin. And as far as the man marked by flames being Shiki, I don't think that's bad. It would explain why he has the poneglyph and how he was able to get it out of Fishman Island. Because Shiki can make things float. So maybe he touched it and then it floated up and that could work. But it wouldn't explain the pitch black ship because we've seen Shiki's ship before. And it's not pitch black. Hey, that's Strong World, not canon, right? So a couple of things there, but I like the idea. I like the idea. Scopper being the silhouette, I think also makes sense because Scopper would be the type of guy that would talk to Crocus. He would be welcomed on Elbaph. Maybe Shanks talked to Scopper while he was here. A lot of good reasons why it could also be him. Like Shiki, Scopper, I'm going back and forth. I like both of these options a lot. You guys have heard me say that time and time again. And as far as this first part where Loki is tricking Luffy, that could be it because Luffy is really gullible. I wouldn't be surprised, but threatening Shanks or his crew, I don't think Luffy would fall for that. I do think we're at the point where Luffy's crew is too strong to be threatened, at least right now, right? Like, oh, you know, if you don't release me, I'm gonna kill him. It's like, good luck with that, buddy. You're tied to a tree, right? I think Luffy would push that luck, and Luffy would just fight the guy if that happened. Like, if Loki actually said, I'm gonna kill your crew or I'm gonna hold them hostage, boom, 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 right? Like, you're Fort Snake, man. It's done. So I think this is a mutual agreement personally, but as far as the crew finding out that Luffy is lying or hiding something, I think that is very possible. We have to remember Otis separated Luffy from the pack when he had to lie to Goldberg and Garrett because Luffy is just a bad liar. Like, hopefully nobody asked Luffy what happened down there in the underworld because Luffy would crumble. We saw what Luffy was like when he had to lie about eating the ear god. Nami had to pull him away. You know, they had to get him out of there. So yeah, I agree with parts of this. I do like Scopper a lot. Man marked by flames being Shiki, halfway there. It's just the ship part for me. And then of course, we don't have to take Shiryu's word as the word of God, but Shiryu did say that it is entirely possible that the world government has the poneglyph. Of course, he's just theorizing, you know, kind of like we are right now, but he did say that. And I think there might be some merit to that. And Shiki, to our knowledge, is a pirate through and through. But yes, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really, really, really freaking appreciate it. Thank you so much for commenting, you know, getting this video out there with me. You know, partially it's me when I'm talking, but it's also you guys because you guys provide all the content here. Thank you as always. And I will catch you guys when the next chapter releases. My name is Sai, and I'm signing out. Peace, y'all.